customizing the Accpac desktop. I want to take a look at the things that you can do in Accpac to configure the area that you click on the icons, the desktop area, to be a little bit more convenient, make things a little bit easier to find, a little bit more user-friendly. I'm going to just jump right in. The first thing you can do is make a folder, and you can make a folder anywhere you want. You could make a folder under inventory control or under common services. Depending on what you do, you might want it in a specific area. Generally, I like to make a folder at the top level, and I like to just create something that has all the things that I care about the most. So in order to do that, I'm going to highlight the name of my company. I'm working in sample company here, so I'm going to highlight sample company. Then I'm going to click on Object, New, and then Folder. And it's going to say, hey, what do you want to call it? And I'm going to name it after myself. I'm going to call my folder Scott. And I'm going to say Finish. And what that'll do, it puts it in alphabetically. It's going to make a folder Scott. So now anything that I use all the time, I can put in this folder. So let's say, for example, I'm an inventory manager, and what are the things that I use the most? I may do transfers. So I'm just going to drag my icon for transfers over to my Scott folder. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble dragging and dropping. I may do, let's see, what else would I do? I could probably do not inventory receipts, PO receipts. So let me go to purchase orders, and then PO transactions. There's my Scott folder, and I may do PO receipt entry. I got a little better with my dragging that time. And then maybe also I run some inventory reports. So maybe I do maybe a movement report or something like that. So let me do, here's a inventory movement report. So just drag that over to Scott. So now all of these icons that I've dragged over, they're right there. So I can launch them from here. It doesn't remove them from the original location. It just makes a copy, a shortcut over there. And then I can very easily put together all of the things that I want to do. I can also rename these icons. So if I go in here, I can change this to, I don't know what I want to call this, add quantities. I didn't really understand, or I was giving this to someone that didn't understand. I can do like that. And to get rid of these, I can right click and delete. And I'm like, yep, I sure want to delete. Or I can just highlight and use the keyboard. I can use delete. Sometimes I've seen someone who does, physical counts, and that's the only thing that they do is they do physical counts. And I can go over here to the physical inventory. And the first step in the physical inventory is generate the worksheet. So drag that over. And the second one is print out this inventory worksheet. And then the third one is key it in. And then the last one is to post it. So now I've got my 4 icons here. And then actually, what I've seen people do is actually go into properties and just rename them. Give them a number 1. Number 2. And so on. So that way it's really easy to see the order that you do. So if you were going to do a physical count for the day and you're going to pull, 20 items off the shelf and you're going to count those for the day, and that's what you're going to be working on, that you can remember that these are the 4 icons that I go through, and this is the order that I go to. And actually, we can also just take this bar here and drag it all the way over. So you don't even see the tree. So if I close out of, oops, let me just close out and do File, Close Company, and then I go back in and log back in, I go straight to my folder because that was the last place I've left. So you've got a user who's not really comfortable navigating the tree, but they only use these 4 icons. They can log in and just see these 4 icons and don't have to worry about the rest of the stuff. And they've got them numbered, and they know exactly what the order is that they can run them. So that's one simple little trick to help make things easier. Depending on your job, would sort of change those icons. We can also make shortcuts to other things. So maybe, for example, if I'm in AP, and in AP transactions, I use Excel a lot. I could right click here and do New, and then Program, and I can do a link to Excel. So I can just type in the name of it as Excel, and then I have to know where Excel lives on my computer. Actually, I think by chance I'm in the same directory. So on my computer, it's on the local C drive, and then I choose Excel. And this would be the same as the icon that you'd have in your start menu, the icon you'd have on your desktop. But if you're in Accpac already and you're creating invoices or whatever, and you just need to open up Excel to double check a calculation, do the same thing with the calculator. You could jump up and do a calculator as well. I've had a bunch of users through the years that if they do currency stuff and they're going to do currency rates, what they'll do is they'll make a shortcut. I'm going to say program here, and they'll say rate lookup. And what they can actually do is put a link to the website. And this is just one website. I know there's a bunch of different ones that people use from time to time to get their spot rates. And now when they click on this rate lookup, it's going to go ahead and open up the web browser. For me, it's Chrome, but for you, it could be something else. And it's going to go right to that currency page, so I can look up the rate for the euro versus the dollar, or whatever sort of spot rates that I'm putting in Accpac. So there's a couple tricks that you can for customization of the desktop. All of these things that I've shown you are specific to the user. So when you do them for your user account, they're gonna stay with you. So if you log on to another computer, they're gonna show up for you, but the changes that you make are only gonna show up for you. So you're not affecting anyone else when you do that. There's one other trick, and that is modifying this little space here. I get asked this often. Up here, we want to change the logo, or we want to put another icon here. Sometimes it's a shortcut to a help desk page, or sometimes it's a shortcut to like a company intranet where they can open a ticket if they have a question on how to do something. And the information for that is actually buried in an HTML file. You need to be a little bit more of an IT kind of person, but on my computer it's on local C, Sage, and then Accpac. And then under AS for administrative services, that's one of the modules for Accpac. And everybody has to have administrative services. It's the one non-optional module that sort of governs all of the other Accpac modules. And under the ENG folder, there is this app.def HTML, and that defines here. And then there's also a couple image files, image 1 and image 2. So I open up image 1. You can see that those are the little teardrops on a vine or whatever they are. So if you had a corporate logo, as long as you made them the same size, you could just replace that. Now these are a little bit different than the other things I was showing you. These are global, and they're going to affect all users for Accpac. You do them one time on the server. Now I know my C drive has my Accpac, but I'm running Accpac locally on my computer. In a traditional environment, this information would be sitting on the server. And then also we have this here. So if you know anything about HTML or have access to someone who knows about HTML, you can open it up. I like to do it in Notepad. And then these are the links that are in here. So if I just go in real quick, make a little bit of space, and then I'm just going to add a shortcut and do a BR to put it on a new line. And just for example, I'm going to put it shortcut to my website's support page, and I'm just going to call it support. And I'm going to close off the bracket. And let me just double check that looks right. So the file, save. Now if I hop back to Accpac, the file, close company, and then open, log back in. And when I do that, well, I see support, but it wasn't an href, so href. Whoops, I added a colon. I shouldn't have added a colon. So that was a typo. So we just hit save, go back real quick, file, close, file, open company. And there we go. Now my support's an underlined hyperlink, and when I click on it, it's going to open up my web browser and take me to my website. So there's just any sort of shortcut that you want to push out to everyone and want to stick it in there and change the corporate logo. That's the way you do that. So those are just a handful of tricks that you can use to customize your Accpac desktop. Hopefully make things a little bit easier, make it a little bit easier for users that aren't as comfortable navigating around Windows or a computer. My name is Scott Holliday. My company is Acumen Information Systems. Please don't hesitate to send me an email or give me a call at 407-965-2411. Thanks.